All right, it's that time of the evening. Question time. Okay. I'm like, what time of the evening is it, Brandy? It's question time. That's what time of the evening it is. And today we're talking about some good stuff. I think it's good stuff. Don't you? We're gonna let some people flood on in just to get ready. If you wouldn't mind doing a little housekeeping for your girl, share the live. Make sure you comment and make sure you just, enjoy, involve yourself, interact with us, okay? Interact with us and let's get to talking. We're talking about the support of children today. So if you're ready, go ahead and click like. Let me know you're ready. Are you ready? If you're ready, comment in the comment section. Randy, I'm ready. Okay, just comment ready. You don't have to comment all those extra words. I have my tea tonight. I found this cup. Isn't it cute? Isn't it cute? It's cute. There's too much steam off my tea. I ain't drinking it. Ain't that crazy? The thing hot. So we're talking child support. Again, make sure you comment, like, share, and be wonderful. Thank you for being here. I'm going to give it a couple more, like maybe a minute or so, just to allow my hosted people to come on in. And if you want to join, oh Lord, yes, if you want to join, because you do, just you do. Click the link that's pinned down there somewhere. Click it, and let's talk about this. Is child support for the kids or against the father? And I've actually asked a few fathers what they thought, and the census or the it was surprising. It was actually very surprising what I got from them and how I got it. Like some of y'all got attitudes, and I might be able to understand why some of you have attitudes about it. So yes. Let's talk about this thing. Okay. So this comment stemmed from a laundry list of things actually, but the main thing is in my youth or in my life, I wanted to be a doctor at first. And then I went to the wrong school that didn't motivate my scientific mind. So I changed my major like 17 times. And then I ended up wanting to be a lawyer, but I wanted to be a lawyer for the fathers, on the father side of things. So, yes. Okay. Let us welcome. You have a shadow. Oh, I'll bring you back in. There's a shadow that's covering your beauty.
Oh, is it? Okay, let me fix it. I'm trying
Okay.
to.
My man. You're cute though. You're cute. You're cute. So I wanted to be a lawyer, but I wanted to be a lawyer on the in support of fathers. My mom said I should be a lawyer because I like to argue. And I'm like, I don't like to argue. I like to discuss things and see if it makes sense to me or make it make sense to me. Um, so whenever you're ready, just let me know. So yeah, I ended up not, I'm still considering it, but whatever. I want to be for fathers because of the judicial system. Some of my mind on it has changed, but overall, bop it bop. Looks like you're ready. I'm going to bring you back in. Okay. Welcome. Okay. I see Ash dollars. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't make the S and Ash a dollar sign either.
Oh, that'd have been clever.
Yep. You gotta do better. Gotta do better than that. Gotta be quicker than that.
I gotta do something with this light. What's going on here?
There you go. I got you. So, chat support. Again, if you want to join, go ahead and click the link right there that's pinned.
I look
And let me know if you are for or against child support. Are you for it? Are you against it? No deeper meaning behind it, just yay or nay. You could have various reasons, but just yay or nay if you're for or against child support. How's your day going, Ash?
It's going well. I mean, I look crazy, but I thought I was gonna be better prepared for this, but it's going well. Thank you. How
You
about your
know,
day?
it snuck up on me.
Yeah,
It snuck up.
you look good though.
Thanks. That's the only thing I did. And put a shirt on. Bless him. Cause I'm a yeah, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. But I got a lot done. Anyway,
Yeah.
so child support, an American staple. I feel like it's only in America that there's child support. It might be in other countries, but I feel like America's like top dog in creating support and financial burdens and financial benefits to people.
Yeah.
More burden than benefit. What are your thoughts on child support?
Oh, you changed my ash. Thank you. I think, I think it's beneficial. I think if you're not, active or, if the child is primarily with one parent, then I think that child support should be paid
Okay. Do you think that it should happen in the courtroom or outside of the courtroom?
outside. I think that it should be discussion between the two. It should be. I guess a lot of people would say, no, I'm not paying it. If it's not in the courtroom, but I think that it should be agreed upon.
Okay, and I definitely feel like I agree. I think it should happen outside of the courtroom. I think the reason it goes to the courtroom most of the time is because somebody's like, I'm not paying it.
Right,
And it's like, you might want to agree to these little $400 I'm asking you for, because
right.
once the courts get hold of you, it's going to be $2,400. And that's until the kids are 19. And I think they have a thing where you have to pay when you're,
I
until
think
they're
it's,
out of college.
yeah, I think it's 18. Yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry,
it's
yes,
18.
18.
Yeah, 18, and yeah, unless they have a disability or they seek higher education. Yeah,
Right. Then you need to contribute to the college fund because that dog get wash it out.
yeah.
So I'm gonna read off some numbers real quick. Don't get bored with me, but it's
Okay,
interesting.
I'm gonna turn my camera off. I'm gonna fix my situation over here,
Go
whatever
for it.
this light is.
So 84% of children, or 84% of child support providers are men. 84% of child support providers are men. 60% of child support providers are providing for one child. 30% support two children, and only 10% support three or more children. It is my firm belief that a majority of people have more than three children. How we banging it out in America. Almost 50% of the people who make child support payments are under 40 years old. Under 40. Men pay a medium of 3,600 annually to support their children, while women pay only 2,400 per year. I'm gonna pause there and ask you what you think about that number.
Say that again.
Men pay on average $3,600 a year in child support. Women pay 2,400 when they're assigned or forced, or whatever, to pay child support.
Well, because it's income based. So as long as there's still the gender, uh, wage gap, then that makes sense. So yeah, it's gender based.
I don't even mean that part, because you're right. The wage gap should be taken into consideration. It sure should.
It is because
But
it's
thirty
based
six
on.
but $3,600 a year. Like, I don't have
Right,
kids.
that doesn't make sense. And somebody and I was talking about this today, how the cost of living as a single person is ridiculous in America.
I know it.
So if you have right, so if you have, it's just hard because it's a percentage of your income that goes to the child. So if you're not really making much anyway, and I couldn't imagine $3,600 a year. I would that's mind blowing. It's like you're not that child isn't living because of
That's
you.
that's $300 a month.
Right. That's
I
that's
probably buy more than that in food.
Yeah.
a month for just me.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, let me in.
You calm down. Burned baby's daddy. What?
Burned babies. I don't get it.
What does that mean?
Do you see my headline? Victim of child support.
What
Right,
does
but the
burned baby's
burned.
daddy mean? You've been burned by child support?
Hello,
Oh,
hello.
anyway. So are you paying $3,600 a year? Because what do you think about that number?
I think child support should be relative. I think that I don't know where you. I've had some technical difficulties tonight. I don't know exactly where you guys are. Look at me, I got a real fancy, smancy
Oh,
mug.
it's so good. So I'm gonna sleep so good. It's lavender and chamomile. Bless the Lord. That's a great combination. If you want to sleep, sleep.
Amen. So I think,
I love that name change. I love it. Sure do.
I know we
Money
could do
equals
those good.
right. So
survival.
I think child support is a scam.
But you're not you jumping questions real quick.
Oh,
Let's start
what was the
with
question?
3,600 a year. Do you think that is sufficient enough to take care of a child?
Let me do my math.
$300 a month,
I think that
$75 a week,
I don't think $3,600 a month.
$10 a day.
Obviously, I don't think $3,600 a month is enough to take care of a child.
Hmm.
But I do believe that at some point the conversation has to turn to how much the child is using. I think child support is a scam. Let me reiterate that again. I don't think $300 is enough to take care of a child.
Okay.
No,
But I also think that the answer is not child support. I think we should force joint custody.
We're gonna
No
get to
one.
that. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
Okay.
that. Calm down. You speeding. Speeding. Put your tap, 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 tap,
Slow
tap.
down, baby. You're moving too fast.
Right.
What song?
Right.
Who sung it?
I'm gonna fit if it ain't the Lord's song, I don't know. My mama might be watching.
Right.
So the median income for a provider of child support is $4,200. 76% of child support payments are due to court order or child support agreement. 38% of child support providers are responsible for health insurance, medical bills, and other assorted healthcare costs. 17% of child support agreements make no provision for healthcare for children.
that was a lot.
Did,
But
did you even catch one of those? Even one of those caught would be like, this is ridiculous.
right, but I tell a lot of men that the loophole to child support is putting your children on your insurance, because if you put your children on your insurance, you don't have to pay child support in the state of Florida.
Okay.
That
I mean, I'm just saying it's reality. But think
Well,
about it like
I
this.
think forget reality. I don't think you should teach people how to not take care of their children because let's be honest. No. How to not take care of their children because let's be honest. If a man is paying child support, that means he does not have 50-50 custody of the kids. And mind you, I don't have kids. He's not paying. He doesn't have shared custody of the kids. Also, who's taking those children to the doctor? Forgetting they own your insurance. Take them to the doctor too. Add that to your little consensus, your little job duties, since you want to bypass their need to eat, their need to be dressed, their need for extracurricular activities.
So so
Like
so
put them on your
so let's have a conversation
I'll
here.
crush you through the screen.
Let's have a conversation here
That's
about
what we're
child.
having.
So I'll tell a quick story.
We better be
Years
quick.
years ago, Ashley was disgusted with my story before it started. Years ago, I had a or I have an aunt that years ago had a friend, and her friend got impregnated by a basketball player. I won't say his name to protect both of them. Um, what?
these long stories. Just say the yeah.
Right.
You
Who
know
we
somebody
don't
that
care
got
who the
pregnant by
basketball
a
player
basketball
is. You're
player.
not
Come
protecting
on.
them. I can't go after them for child support.
So this particular basketball player who played for the Orlando Magic had
Dwight Howard, go ahead.
It was Dwight Howard, actually.
Because he's a whore. Go.
Oh my gosh.
So literally, he had to pay for his first child $30,000 a month
Okay.
Good.
in in child support.
Hmm.
That's obscene.
No,
I think I one moment. I think it's obscene because no child spends 30 grand a month.
you
You
don't
and your
know.
new boyfriend might spend it, but no child spends that. I think there should be a standard cost. This is the cost of a child that's in the state of
No,
Florida. This is
no,
the cost of a child, and everyone should pay that amount. I'm
no.
not saying
That's silly. I
I'm
think
not
that that's
100, but this is the call. This is the rate of childhood living for a decent childhood, and this is the cost, and everyone should pay that.
no. I think that that's silly to say that this is how much it costs to keep a child alive, and this is what you. The child should live like the parent lives. One thing that really always bothers me. This is a pet peeve of mine. When I see a woman with her hair done and her children's hair aren't done, or I see a physically fit parent and their children aren't physically fit. Their children are overweight. Your child should live the quality of life that you're living. If that child was in his home, that child probably would eat up $30,000 a month because that child would have the best, or what the father could afford. They will have good clothes. That child might have a nanny. That child might be going to private school. You whatever your income bracket is, that's how you spend. People that have more tend to spend more, and when the child is in the home, you do spend on the child. I might spend $500 a month on my child. You might spend 5,000 because you make more than me. I don't know, but that child should get whatever it is proportionate to what the parents are making, because that's what they're quality. It don't matter. I mean, it does matter. Hopefully she's not spending it, the other parent that's receiving it is not spending on themselves, but that amount makes sense to me.
And I'm going to say, just an
Yeah,
example, say I have a child that plays volleyball, that does gymnastics, that goes to private school, right?
that part.
$500 for volleyball a month.
Right.
Gymnastics, let's say it's 250, just to,
Seven
I don't
seven
know.
twenty.
Okay, we're just gonna say 250. And then private school is 1,500 a month.
20.
Okay, 1,500 a month. You know what that adds up per year? $27,600 for two activities in private school. Forget that they need clothes. Forget that they have to buy uniforms for
Forget that
these
they have to eat.
situations. Forget that they have to eat. Forget eating. They don't need to eat. They're children. Forget all that. $27,600 a month, and that's for regular people. Like regular, like I ain't got no like that's, you know how much I make. Like most parents, again, the median average income is $42,000. So now you have to split up the remaining less than $20,000 to eat, clothes, um, and gas, insurance, rent, or mortgage for two people. Now, do you still think 30,000 is not enough coming from someone that does make millions of dollars?
So let me ask you this, because I think what we're doing is, I don't think it's fair.
What's not
I,
fair?
I think to say, I do believe that as a parent prospers, a child should prosper. But why then isn't the conversation, if you're the parent that's making this money, that can afford the nanny and can afford the things like that, why isn't the conversation, let's make it where the parent who was the breadwinner gets the child?
That, you know what, that's not, why isn't that the conversation? Because for some of us it is the conversation, and sometimes the other parent doesn't want that responsibility. They feel it's easier to pay. You can't force anyone to, be an active parent.
So you're telling me, because and right, and the key word here is active parent, right? You're telling me that, let's use Dwight for an example.
Hmm.
You're telling me that he has time to care for a child while he is on the road.
So I did some math.
You didn't answer the
30,
question.
no,
You didn't
no,
answer the question.
he may not, but $30,000 times 12 is $360,000 a year. I guarantee you he can find a 24-hour nanny for less than $360,000 a year. I guarantee you
Right.
$100,000 a year he can get a nanny and the child's taken care of, the this, that, and the other. So I think that to say that it's about the care and the concern of the child, I think that he could figure out a way to do those things much cheaper.
Well, I'm sure. However, his child isn't going to Altamont Elementary. His child is going to like whatever that freaking school is in Georgia that's like $100 million a year, which is I think $30,000 a month. That's where his kid's going. His kid isn't going to Rosenwald if it was a private school. That's not what he's doing. That's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, 30,000 sounds like a lot, but the school that celebrities kids go to, and we're talking about celebrities, is going to be expensive. It is.
And I think that that's damaging to the child to say, "Oh, I make millions of dollars every year, but the cost of living to keep you alive is only $600 a month. So this is where you're going to be at." And the child goes with that parent every now and again. They're like, "Wait, dang, how you living like this?" And we over here scrapping it.
Can
I
I ask?
think that's because I think that's crazy.
Can I ask you a question? Do the children, and I'm not talking about you specifically, but even in parents where there isn't a child support relationship, if they're millionaire parents, do they have an obligation to treat their children like mini millionaires? I don't know if that's a real thing.
Yeah,
No, they
they
don't.
do.
But they do have the obligation to not make that child resent the parent that doesn't have the money. Because what's going to happen is they're going to go to dad's house and they're going to be like, oh, there's a pool, there's this. Then they're going to go to mom's house, who is in a one-bedroom apartment because that's all she can afford because she doesn't get child support because you feel like child support should be banned. And she lives in one of, and the child is like, I hate you. I hate living here. This is the worst place
Are you
ever. Da, da, da,
serious?
da, 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 da. And even if they don't say it out loud, they'll say it in their hearts. They're saying it in their minds. They'll say it inside. They're
So if a
resent.
father is successful,
Mhm.
listen to
Or
what you're saying.
mother, or
Even or a
mother.
mother, thank you.
Listen to
Because
what
women
you're
do pay child support too.
If a parent is successful
Mhm.
and they can take care of the needs of their children, decent clothes, decent shoes, food, and shelter, that parent should pay a I'm a wealthy parent tax in the form of child support because the other parent is lacking.
Why do you think why do you think that child should not receive support that totals the parent's income? Why are you so against that? Why is that such a hard thing?
I,
That's like that same thing. If I marry a man who didn't have money, and because I'm not broke, and I married someone who doesn't have money, and should he be treated according to his income? Okay, we're in this house, but you're not going to sleep how I sleep. You're not going to eat how I eat. If he's being treated differently, and it's very clear that I'm not sharing my income with you, and you're gonna scrap it out, there's gonna be some division in this house. 1 second, please.
And I would like to also say that 22% of dads who live apart from their kids see their child, um, see their children more than once a week. 22% only
right.
see their child more than once a week. So
Uh,
that means between most 6 days a week, they're with their mother or the custodial parent. But that says this is particularly talking about dads because that's what the life is about. You were gonna say something?
I think that we need to back up here. You can be a fantastic dad
Mm-hmm.
and give a child a fantastic life that does not have a certain amount on it. I think that's what I struggle with. To say because the dad makes $1 million a year, and him because what you're really doing, you're providing for that mother. Do you think that that child that Dwight Howard had was spending $30,000 a month? Come on now.
I'm not saying that she was. What I'm saying is that allows for, okay, let's back up a little further. Okay.
Uh-huh.
These celebrities, these celebrities, basketball players, movie stars, whatever, if you stop having sex with everybody and stop having these kids, all these kids, no, all these kids out of wedlock, you have to worry about no child support. But you want
Oh,
to hurt this little girl because she came to your concert and now she's pregnant and now you got to pay child support. That's on you.
no.
Now,
What?
you
Why
realize
can't I?
they came to these events. You realize they came to these events because they trying to come up on the come up.
Why can't I say to the mother then? Well, if you want to be a loosey goosey woman sleeping with these artists and these basketball players, and you have a child, it's on you to raise the child. Come on now, that ain't right.
Because I didn't make it by
You
myself, and he was loosey goosey sleeping with me too. So
and
we
you know
both
why you
loosey
can't
goosey.
you know why you can't say that, because the system doesn't support that statement. The system does support you for him or the person that has the higher income to be more safe. Because it is a fact. A lot of people, where some people will get pregnant on purpose because of the situation.
Right. I think that we have to have an honest conversation about people who are doing and people who are having children and people who are having their their situations. Child support, for example, I'll give another quick story. What's wrong? Y'all don't
Just
like.
say it. No,
Oh
because
no,
your
go
stories
ahead.
aren't
What?
quick.
So Rick Scott, he's the governor of Florida, and
He's not the governor of Florida. He's a senator.
no,
He is
no,
a alien.
no, he was the governor of Florida
Okay.
when
But
he was.
just say Rick Scott. Like, you can eliminate those little extra things to make the stories shorter. Because we know Rick Scott.
And they can Google him.
When Rick
Google him.
Scott was the governor of Florida, Rick Scott tried to implement. Who is that? They said never quit.
Tasia.
Never that ever.
Go ahead. Come on now. Rick Scott.
Hey, what's wrong with you? That hurt my. I'm gonna be honest, Sister Tasia, that hurt my heart.
All right, now Rick Scott, what about him? He stole from Medicare.
So
That's how he got rich.
shut up. Rick
Or
Scott.
Medicaid, one of them. He did. He did.
Rick Scott wanted to make it a law that if you were receiving, uh, Ash is fed up with the long story. See what you did, Ashley? See what you did?
Ah, congratulations on the baby, RJ.
Hey, yes. And I am fed up.
So watch this. Rick Scott wanted to make a law where if you were receiving food stamps or any social services, that you had to be drug tested. I said that should be a law, and they should make a law if you receive child support too. If you're on drugs, there is no one to monitor how these women are spending this money to say that you have to give a woman a portion of your income without her explaining how it's benefiting the child. It's not right. It's not right at all.
Okay. So let's say somebody's getting $20,000 a month for child support.
Or 500 or 1,000.
Listen what I'm saying, okay? Listen what I'm
Did,
saying.
did you speak?
Should they be able to, let's say she only spends 1,500 on the kid, whatever. And I doubt that because anyway, should she be permitted to put 15,000 away into a trust for them?
Yes.
Okay, well, she's still getting $20,000 in support. It's still being used.
I think a woman I think there should be an expense account. It should be something that could be traceable to this went to rent. If you got 10
Okay.
kids, if you got 10 kids, 4 kids, 2 kids, and I have a baby with you, and my child is sharing a room with your other munchkins, you can't act like my child needs to pay half of the rent at your apartment, and every baby daddy is in there is paying half the rent at your apartment, and half of your light bill, and half of your water bill. At some point, we gotta say child support is a racket. I ain't talking my business,
So
but can
you're
I,
saying men should have kids with women that have additional children so that they don't have to pay anything?
He's saying that every child's father is being calculated to pay half of her rent. So if
correct?
Right.
she has 4 kids paying half her rent is being paid 2 times over. But
Hello.
I feel like
Wait. Say it
I
again slowly for
I
Tay.
feel I feel like one, I think that's the come up, and I wish I would have went that route. I'm just kidding. And am I anyway? But secondly, I feel like fathers B, C, and D, yeah, you knew what you was getting into.
Talk
That's
about it.
on you. I mean, you can't fault her for the system. Does it make sense in that scenario? No. But you
That-
cannot, I mean, it is what it is.
And
I'm
riddle me this.
that
If
that it
there,
don't make sense.
riddle me this. Say you do the expense report, right? And you realize that that little $400 that you give in a month should actually be $1,600 a month because that's what she's spending on the child. Is there an increase? Should they adjust it? Or is she stuck with 400? Oh, you think about that hard? Really? That I thought that would be a quick yes. Because it's for the child, right?
So watch this.
I don't want to watch anything.
When you have a place to stay, a child being there does not cause your rent or mortgage to go up. Your light bill maybe, your water bill maybe.
You need the
But
space.
It does cost your mortgage to go up because if you're living comfortable, I don't want to be on top of my children. I have 4 of them. So in order to have us living comfortable, I do have to get a bigger home. I can't get a 2 bedroom with
I'll, I'll,
4 children.
I'll
So the cost of living does go up. It sure does. Cause why we have to live on top of each other and you over there got your
Stretched
girlfriend
out.
and her child over at
can,
your house and y'all
can
y'all comfortable.
I
Oh,
ask
man.
you? Can I ask you this? And this is going to be personal, but you don't have to answer it. How much do you think you could save a month if it was just you?
If I didn't have children,
If you don't have your 4 children, how much do you think you could save? You would save a month.
I've done the math and I have recently, and I'm ashamed to say that.
Brandy, shut up.
I'm
Brandy.
Yeah, they're like, man, if I ain't had these darn kids, I might have like $17 million
you
in
know
the bank.
I've done the math and I because I had to say that, like, hey, this is what it cost to raise super women. Because my girls, I don't plan for them to be average. So in order to get them to where I feel like they're going to go, it costs money. And I'm not going to say how much I would save, but I can say that I spend a couple mortgages on my children every month.
And let me ask this. You not ask, but I would say you have to think about also, is the child support a person is getting it really sufficient
Mm-mm.
to what the child support would have to equal what that parent is saving. You know what I mean? Is that the
What?
case?
What? No,
And
no, no,
in the most American households, it is not.
no, no, no,
I know
no.
somebody
And,
that
It,
was
and
spending
what's
fifty
not
dollars a month.
factored and what's not factored into child support
$50.
is the emotional cost of raising children. That's taxing on you. The
No sleep.
physical cost, the driving to and from wherever they have to go.
Mm.
That gas money is not factored in.
I,
That the eating is not factored in because my girls compete every weekend. I have to pay to get in. It's $20 to get in the door per person. I'm coming with 3 other shadows because you don't have to pay for the player. They have to eat there. You have to pay to park. There's a lot that goes into it, and none of that is factored in the child support.
And
None
just
of it.
imagine, and just imagine if you
And
had
that's
4
why.
boys. Boys, I mean, girls eat, but boys, they
oh,
eat.
girls out eat boys. But let me
Yeah,
say,
my girls eat like boys.
I want to say this.
They
It's
can't.
not that everything you save has to be factored in child support. Only 50% of what you save has to be. They're your children too. They are your children. And I want to say this because I want to be fair. I think that the amount of money that I spend personally on child support, because I've had my children for the summer and during the school year, sometimes for 2 or 3 weeks, it is a blessing for me to pay to have someone else deal with the running, the hospital visits. I will not take that from a mother or anyone who's the custodial parent. Child support, sometimes you feel like you get off easy because I do agree that the emotional, the wear and tear, the hours spent, the homework, that those things are not factored into child support. So I won't diminish the role of that parent who has the majority of the time with the children.
And this one lady, when I was in high school, she was talking about the father, her child, and she calls him a big ball of disappointment. And she would say, but he always the loudest one at the games, and that's my child, that's my child. And then when we graduated, she I was over there, she said, watch, he gonna be the loudest one, like he here all the time, and like he doing something. That's my child. And that's how it is. It's like you like the glory of it, you like the fact that they making you look good, but there's a lot of energy that goes into getting that child to where that child is.
You have
Can I ask a question?
I have what?
an amazing smile.
Can I
Ding.
can I ask a question? How much is your time worth per hour?
Me,
Ask my clients.
I was
Yes.
just I'm pretty expensive.
That's not answering the question.
With that being said, shouldn't all that be compensated in the support? Who
It
is
sure should be.
I
that?
Tasia.
agree.
It sure should be. How much is your time worth per hour?
Well, well,
Burns baby
if
daddy.
you book a Asham session, I don't come out of my house for less than 225.
Okay. You
So
gotta
book it.
turn off your camera so I can know how much. Just it's a
Book it.
number. How much is your time worth an hour?
I'm at about $120 an hour.
You're at $120. Okay, I'm gonna divide that by two. That's $60 an hour. Let's say you have your child for let's say 5 days out of the week, right? And then that's 4 weeks, and that's 52 uh weeks a year, right?
Hmm.
Your time is worth $1.5 million.
Those kids
So
are
the
in
parent
school.
that's running, so the parent that's running around, taking the children here, there, and everywhere, should be getting 100, and that's half because the other parent is paying the other half, right? Because you said you should be cut that in half. So technically, your child, the time that's spent is worth $3 million. Your time. So you don't feel child support and the payment thereof, the additional on top of, isn't worth it?
I think if that's the case,
It is. I counted it.
because I have to pay for my child, I think what more men should do is exercise their right to joint custody, do away with child support, week with you, week with me, and let's see where it lies at the end.
That's what I think.
I think that that is a great idea. And I know a lot of women would welcome that, because then we get a break. We get to go to sleep fully when we got them, every other week. Because I'm all for the week on, week off. You go, because I would save money on gas. I think my business would just elevate. I will have more time to focus on my business, myself. Like I fantasize about it. I even wrote a post about it. Like I'm all for it.
Tasia agrees.
I am all for it. Let's go.
And then
And
on
the
top of
children
that,
will have that time to bond with you even the more. I am for it.
Talk. Why are you talking?
and I would say
Let's do it.
also, and don't call me to pick up the kids on your week. You figure it out just like I have to figure it out. They're yours. I come to the games. I'll be there to support. But don't call me on your week.
I this is
You
we're
didn't
in
think we were
trouble.
going to agree with that? That was
No,
easy.
I think that's a great idea. I think that, I wish that more men wanted that option, because I think that also helps the child, because they're being raised by both parents, and they feel like both parents are invested. The other parent gets to instill wisdom and teach certain things that the other parent may not have the ability to do or whatever. So
Ooh,
I think
that
that
not disturb.
Oh,
But I think
right.
that, yeah, do not. That's what I'll be on my weeks. Do not disturb, because
Nothing.
as the primary parent, when anything goes wrong or anything happens at school, they're texting you. Hey, I left this, or I need this, or hey, what do I do about this, or this person doesn't like me. You get all of their emotional needs put on you as well. All of that, and you have to, when you're making medical decisions, you're the one in there with that doctor, and you're the one ingesting this information. You don't have anyone to bounce it off of, or share the emotional burdens of that, because not every child is extremely healthy. Some of them have different things that they're going through, but that other parent gets is in my opinion, is living just a carefree life. And I think, could I pay the child support and let the other parent do it? I haven't thought about that. Like, which one? I mean, I love my girls. I love raising them, but it's like, which one? Because mental peace is a thing. Like, everybody's on that, what mental health. That's the whole situation right now. There's primary parents, check on us. I wrote a post about that too. Check on us.
And you also have to think about in this day and age, which
Let me
isn't
put my
factored in.
cash app up here.
Go ahead. And what also needs to be considered is with this day and age, like we grew up in a time where it wasn't cyber nothing, but these kids need therapy they daggone selves. So who's paying for that?
What's an expectation of a father who's already paying child support outside of that?
What's the
Outside,
expectation?
right, outside of child support, because I'm thinking, $300, 30,000, 1,000, 600, whatever it is. After that, is he done? He gets the kid on the weekends or every other weekend. What's the other?
So what I've found in talking to a few people about this is even with custody agreements, let's say parent pays $2,000 a month, father gets the child on weekends, mother has them during the week. Fathers don't even get their child on the weekend. Like your child support is based on how often you have the kids, right? But you're not having the kids according to the amount according to what the agreement is. So no, you pay until that child is good and grown and at the house. I think that was your question. After that,
Well,
until they
you
out of
saying,
college.
what in addition? For me personally, I think that child support is the least need for the child. This is me personally.
The least what now?
The least need.
Oh,
That's me personally, and that's because of where I am. I feel like I can support my children, and they'll still live the same lifestyle that they live now without any additional help. Thank God. I think that being there for that child emotionally, physically, showing that you're present, that counts more to me. I would prefer that their dad stop by throughout the week, say, hey, I'm gonna pick them up from school today. I'm gonna take them to breakfast before I take them to school today, and just being active in their life. That means more to the child, because I want a well-rounded child. I want a child that knows both parents care and we are in this thing for you. So if you're paying child support, I still feel that same thing is required. That's required. And I know this is gonna sound probably a little bit strange, but I feel like the what is it? If you're not the primary, you're the what?
Like,
Secondary parent? I don't want to say that though. What's another nice way of saying that?
the
I
non
think that,
you're the less active.
which one?
Non-custodial. Let's.
Non-custodial parent. Thank you.
Let's actually.
Non-custodial parent. This is me. I feel like they have an obligation to the primary parent. Hey, how is it going? Do you need anything?
Heck yeah.
What's going on with the child? They had a doctor's appointment. Where how did it go? It's your job to check in on that child. It's your job to check in on that child. What's going on in school? You don't live a carefree life. I think that that's way more important than paying. I don't require because my situation. He and I, their father and I, are not together. I don't require child support. If he say, "Hey, I'm not paying it tomorrow," and for the rest of their life, that's on you. But call and check on these children. That's what I call them every day. They should hear your voice every day. And you better what?
And you better. That's Cheva.
Oh,
Chevalier.
yeah. Check on these children every day. That's your obligation. Is to be a parent.
And the fact of the matter is, when I was younger, my parents weren't like in the same house.
No.
But when I say my daddy was and is there, and that's what I remember. I don't remember what money my daddy gave my mom. I don't know. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know. We could have been piss poor. But the fact that my dad picked us up, took us to breakfast, or picked us up, and he's very active. And I think that's what children need, even more than financial support. But they do need that financial support because they're not free.
I think you two right now are showing a smidge of hypocrisy, because earlier when I said that money wasn't everything, you guys wanted $30,000 a month, and now you're saying that if you're active, you remember the activity and the presence. Um, right. Whoever said that, the presence isn't the same as resources.
Yeah.
So I think that presence does take precedent. And
That's my opinion, though.
uh,
I'm saying across
did
the
you
board.
really
That's
change your name to your Cash App?
I did.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
me.
Support
That's me.
the need for help, mental health.
That's what you asked outside of. You said if he's
Right. In
healing,
addition.
what else should he be doing? I
Right.
said that those calls are important and that is required. Presence should be there, even if you're providing resources. Presence should be there. And for me, and Brandy and I obviously are sisters, my things are learned behaviors as well. I remember my mom not requiring my dad to pay because she felt if you decide you don't want to help with your children, that is on you. He did,
Very
he
much.
did provide for my mom. Let me be very clear. He did provide with her to support us,
Right.
but she didn't, that was not an obligation, but she did require him to be active. She did require him, or she did suggest to him to
Right.
be active. And not only was he active in our lives, he was active with all of our cousins.
Right.
So he felt like family, to them because he was always around. So I think that that is of more value to me. And I'm also saying that because I have a decent income. Now, if I didn't wasn't making up money and I had four children, or I wasn't making good enough money because I don't make a lot of money. Let's be very clear on that either, on that as well. If I was in a position with four children and we were struggling, resources might be more important to me. I can't. I'm sitting in the place that I'm in today. I would prefer another active parent. Me.
I,
And
I
go ahead.
I think though, child support as an institution, I agree with resources. It's not other. That
See,
McDonald's breakfast was great with Uncle. Oh, RJ trying to be the favorite cousin.
but
No, if
no, that
Chef
my
said
dad
something,
took all
Oh,
of
RJ,
all it because we were all
Nick.
in school together. If my dad was taking, because RJ is right under me. If my dad was taking me to school,
RJ,
he
please.
took RJ, Chubb, Shante. He took everybody that was going to that
Yeah.
school. Let's all pile up in that truck, that pickup truck that was against the law. Let's be clear on that too.
Get on the
But he
back.
took everybody. So his presence was there, and I want to backtrack. I don't care if you're present. I mean, I don't care what the case may be. Your income should reflect to the child, and I stand by that. That $30,000 makes sense to me, and I really feel like he probably could have been paying more because I want to live like my daddy living. Me personally, I want to live like my daddy living.
But why does that but see, my problem with that is, okay, live like your daddy's living, but you know that woman ain't spending $30,000 a month on a kid, man. I think we got to be honest about that. Let me say this. I and
You would be surprised.
I'm getting ready to get in my business right now. I have a problem
Stress
sometimes.
removed from the primary credit causes for a more productive home. I agree with that. Look,
I have a problem sometimes because I am a faithful child supporter and I pay more than what the state says I have to pay. But I will be honest, when I get a call or a text message that says, send me $30 for pizza, and I know that in your home, there's only my two children that are 8 and 12, and ain't no way in heck they gonna eat $30 worth of pizza, and your living boyfriend gonna have his hand in the box. It makes me angry. It makes me angry because it ain't my job to provide a Hawaiian pizza for that Nick. Oh, for now. I done got pissed. I'm angry now.
So how do
but
you fix that?
you're the one who sends her the money though.
Thank you.
If she
And
called and said,
words
"Can
of
you send
Mr.
me?"
Roll.
Oh, if she
I'm up
called,
now, Sweller. I'm up.
if she called and said, "Send me an extra $30," your response is no. And if you say no, she'll stop asking. She asks because you do it. So you teach people how to treat you. So that's on you.
And then
And if
also,
you feeding her boyfriend, that's and you know it, that's on you.
Some of
right.
y'all
I mean, if that's the case, she wants
don't
the 50
have to.
$50, $30 for whatever, then send 15 and be like, he gonna take that other 15 for himself. Like you don't have to send $30 to feed everybody.
Your Tasia asked, "Do you send it?" Oh, there you go. That's Tasia.
Sister Tasia, listen to Pastor here.
Chef, period poop.
Who is that? That's
Chef.
right. I think that we have to have honest conversations. Child support as an institution, the suspending of licenses, locking men up, the paper trail, the anxiety, the not having a passport. I don't have any experience with this, but I have to agree. Whoa! Come on
We're
here.
all agreeing with you. But the thing is, we're all agreeing with you.
I agree.
You
Wait a minute.
shouldn't be giving them, you shouldn't be paying for some dude to eat also. Like
But you
that makes
say
no
that,
sense.
Hold
but,
on.
but you say that in the same breath that you said $30,000 makes sense. You don't think
I
if
said
you
$30,000
hold on,
makes sense for the
wait,
child.
wait,
Don't do
wait,
that. Don't do
wait,
that.
wait,
Don't,
wait,
let's not.
wait. So that's what I'm saying. If I'm writing a 30,000 or $500 check for my one child, whatever comparable to my income, and you have a living boyfriend, and you cannot, and I still got the when my kid still calls me and say, "Daddy, can I go to the movies?" And I got the cash app $20.
You don't
Daddy, can
have
I?
to
You
do
don't
that.
got to do
You don't
nothing.
have to do that.
Oh, okay.
If you're
Well,
paying child
Option to do
support,
that.
you don't have to do that. I would never. I don't think I would ever call their dad and say, "Can I get addition or whatever?" That to me is asinine. That doesn't even make sense.
what do you mean?
And for you to keep doing it, that's on you. But
Not
I
me.
feel like, wait,
Hey,
I
hey,
feel like,
hey,
I'm gonna be like your baby mama because I might have a living boyfriend one day. I don't know. But it
I'm,
don't matter if he's paying a bill or not. That doesn't change your obligation to these children. Don't worry about what's going on over here. Just make sure that child support roll in on time.
who is that?
Tasia, who need to just pop on and click the link and just get on here.
Right.
And
Get out.
Where
I
Finish
are
your
they?
homework, girl.
Yeah,
I know
I
I
we know
would
need
you're
a
say,
looking
I
at
man.
would say I can't completely agree with that because there are some parents, again, like I said, again, $50 a month and child support. They might need a little extra money. They might need the extra $30 for the to feed for the kids. Now, if you feel like you're getting a fair amount, and I don't know how many people feel that way, but if you're getting a fair amount, then maybe you should not be asking for additional money.
Maybe there's something wrong with me then.
Oh, it's something wrong with you, all right. But go ahead, go ahead. Don't
You
don't.
can't complain about something that you're doing willfully.
No. I'm not talking about me. I just don't be trying to.
No, I'm just saying, just period. You can't complain about something that you're doing
I
willfully.
I think that who said that?
Chef.
I know he ain't watching Harry Potter again, so just jump on now.
Said last
And if
week,
you are, it's okay. Come on
said
in.
last week you were the Gerard whisperer. Now this week, see that's what the Bible talked about. Last week it was Hosanna. Now this week is crucify him. You got
Right.
you got me
Whatever.
picked.
Well, at least we know he was being impartial.
All right, you got me
And are you saying that you are the Christ? I think not.
Woo!
I caught that.
I think that child support is a scam for many reasons. I think that there's not a system where when a mother withholds her children, she easily Holy Week. It is. It starts Sunday. Palm Sunday is Sunday. Maundy Thursday, Good Friday. Hey,
Well,
look,
Focus.
Ramadan just went by.
right.
Mhm.
So I think Allah Akbar. I think that uh
You think that? Here we go. Here you go, Tage, with another short story.
I, I don't like that my short stories have become a whooping point for me every week. You guys are not worthy of my short stories. I just want to say I think that when you factor in how the system, this is not the nation. I think that when you factor in how the system, how they even go after people who don't pay child support or who are late on child support, they don't do that when moms
Yeah,
are
they do.
Yes, they do.
are not giving visitation. They don't
You
do
know,
that when moms are not letting the children call dad. They don't do that when mom decides I'm going out of town on your weekend and
You
they know
know
you.
why that is? Because dad's not calling the courts to complain about it.
right? They're not enforcing that because you have a parenting plan.
A woman doesn't have
And
to call the
secondly,
court.
if
She
a
Yes,
calls the
she
woman,
child
does.
support office and it's done. It's
She
done
has to.
no,
She
automatically.
no,
has no,
no,
baby. She has
you
to
have to
complain.
enforce it.
I know too many people pay child support. She has to contact the courts and say that she is not getting child support. The court is
And
not on her. They have too many people paying child support.
Okay.
if the primary parent or the custodial parent doesn't pay for that child to eat whatever and have good living, they go to jail too. If
Okay.
that child is neglected, if that
Uh,
child is not being
Come on
kept.
now. The
So
burden
it's
of
the
proof.
same thing.
That's
If
not
he's
the
not, that is the
same. No, no.
same thing. If he's not paying to help keep that child kept, if
Are
food,
you equating not paying child support to child neglect where a
that
parent
is child
That
neglect.
is
Because if
child
she stops
neglect.
doing, if I'm sorry, the custodial parent stops doing it, it's child neglect. So if the non-custodial, it's still child neglect. And I don't know about going to jail. I feel like suspending the license is silly, because then how do you get to work? But oh, I got to give me
Oh,
some cool
somebody's out
gas.
of town. Somebody's on vacation. Go
I
ahead.
feel like if like that, the
I wish
different
I was an
things.
Oliver. Y'all got some pretty good genes. I just
I
want to
think the different
Thank you.
things that's not, taking the license away, I think that's silly.
That is
But
because you have to get to
there
work.
should be things put in place, repercussions put in place
what
for
like peeling his fingernails off.
and dipping them in alcohol. Yes, sounds good. Hey,
Tasia. Okay, so welcome, Chef Valle.
yeah, y'all
Pardon
notice
the
that chef only come on after you ask him 2 times on the
Yes, I've
live.
noticed. That's why I try to get it out.
He be sitting there waiting.
That's why I try
That's
to get it
important,
out
people.
quickly.
I like to troll a little bit. And pardon the Wi-Fi. I am in a hotel. And I wish this were a vacation, but I will say for the folks for the state of Florida, I'm actually in Tallahassee. And for Black folk in particular, fighting for our history. So
Oh my gosh, you should have let me come with you.
so it's not a vacation. Although I do miss my kids, it's actually for liberation.
Good luck, man, because that dude is cuckoo. So, how do you feel about child support?
On
What are
that
your
note,
thoughts
if I
on what?
He said when he wanted to
I
say
was gonna,
something. I was supposed to be the whisperer tonight, and I was there a little bit, and then I wasn't there, and then I'm back there, and then I kind of went off.
Okay, so
all
how do
right,
you feel about this child supportation?
that's what it should be called because it's very much like deportation.
I I'm iffy about it, and first of all,
All
Shaq
like
is a really difficult, um, I would say, model for this, right? Because your dad, was around more than mine,
that's fine.
and so the reason I say it's a difficult model, um, is because I also think there was an expectation that was unspoken, that was set by your mom, and was an expectation of trust that happened, and not everyone has that energy, and it's not to be slight, and to say things around folks who don't have that type of energy, but Betty Joe's a whole different character. It's a whole different energy, and it's a whole different
Right.
vibe, and I channel myself when I want to, when my self saboteur is in the way. I actually channel, and
Mhm.
I'll get to another point later when your mom spoke total existence last week into my life. That
Oh,
was absolutely different. But when it comes to, I think, the whole child support thing, um, Ashley, I think there are some places of privilege, that we have to acknowledge, that you know, I did grow up in a low income household, right? Although my mom did have several sisters and several brothers that would have jumped in at any point in time. The one thing about us Oliver blood is we are a very proud folk, and a part of being a very proud folk, we won't ask for what we essentially need, and it is not up to my mom to have to speak to the needs for her children. It is
to the
up.
father?
It is not up to my mother to speak for the needs of her children that she co-created with another adult and
Okay.
individual. It is his responsibility and their responsibility, or whomever's responsibility, whoever co-created these individuals, it is their responsibility to ask for what is needed or to just provide. I know that my I have twins, right? My twins don't tell me that they need diapers. I buy them diapers. My twins don't tell me that they need formula. I buy them formula. That is something that I know that they need. I don't have to ask their other parent if that's something that I should get. I just automatically do it, whether or not we are together. Now, I was raised in a whole single parent household, and I've been listening to this conversation around, um, uh, the income, the whole income thing, and it fluctuates. It ebbs and flows. Sometimes $30,000 a year is not enough. Sometimes it's more than enough. And I don't think there's an equation to it. I think at the end of the day, you need to provide for your kids above and beyond, the
Right.
lifestyle that you have, um, you wish for them, not what you think the other primary parent thinks that they should have.
Cheers.
I'd like to ask
Boom.
a question,
Period.
because
Poo. The worst
you
of Chuck.
are because you are involved in legislative issues and you have a good understanding of how things flow in that arena. Um, do you think that it would be wise to have a standard, just like they have for students in school, a standard amount that is fair for a child's well-being, and parents all over, whether you make whatever or whatever, this is a fair amount that says this is the we have a poverty line, right? It's for everyone. Do you think there is a line that we could institute to say this is pretty much fair for the monthly care of a child? And do you think that that would make sense to do?
That's a really good question. First, I have to say a legal little asterisk. I am not wearing my
That
legislative
part.
hat. I am representing Chevalier Chubb. I'm representing Chubb tonight,
Come on.
and that's on that. And
And
for
that's
those
on
who are,
that.
And real quick, please be sure to like and share this live. Go. I'm sorry.
and for those who know me and love me the most, Chubby, right? That's who I'm representing tonight. Um, and no, I don't think there should be. And the reason that there should not be is because there is no formula. The economic issues and the economic crisis that always fluctuates and ebbs and flows in several different ways is based on cola. And cola is very different in
Right,
every region. And just in our state alone,
right,
there are essentially 6 to 8 different colas across the state, right? Miami is different than what it is in Orlando, than what's different than Leon County, than what's different. And yes, we do sometimes claim them, North Florida, Duval. But
What's a cola?
um, cost of
cost
living,
of living.
Okay, I
cost
didn't
of
know.
living, right? So um, if you come out with a basis cola, then I don't think that's absolutely fair. I think what's fair is whomever and I'm sorry, Ash, you said I don't like to use the word secondary. I'm going to say secondary. And sometimes um my father, whom I am getting a better relationship with now since the birth of my sons, right? And through some loving nudging from even Ashley and my sister. And even though I push back a lot on that, but that's again another thing. But even though I'm getting a better relationship with my father at the moment, I I want to just come from a mind frame of or a frame of, Valerie was a super proud woman. She didn't ask for much, and at times she asked for $300 a month and didn't get that, right? And I think
Valerie is who?
that's my mom.
Right.
That's
Okay.
that's that's Queen B, right? Um, and the role, the terminology of primary, secondary parent. Sometimes it's secondary, and sometimes it's not even fitting that.
Sometimes it's
Um,
tertiary.
yeah, right. And the stress, and one of the comments I did make that was uplifted was presence is really super crucially important. But in hindsight, now that I think about it as an adult, I think that resources are far more important because it took away from the stress that my mom had to go through,
Mm.
which still sticks with me today. And when we talk about equity, we don't talk about presence, y'all. We talk about resources in this world. So I just want to make sure that's also a thing. We need to be consistent with our language.
I think that to Gerard's question, should there be a set amount? I think that there should be a set bottom to say you can't give less than this every month for this child's survival. Because I know some people who are paying pennies. You should, if we have minimum wage and we're not letting people work under this amount, you shouldn't be able to pay less than this amount per child. And if you need to get a second job or get a job, then you need to do that. I feel like that should be something. And then I think to Chef's point, that relationship is very important because even later in life, you're finding value in having a relationship with your dad. And I think that as parents, we need to do what's best for the child. Yes, we had this child. We might not even have known each other when we had the child, but we need to have a relationship, you and I, that's going to be the best for this child. And I think that that's a starting point. We need to have a common ground. We might not be besties and calling each other all the time, but we need to be able to get along, because I think that even if your dad didn't give the $300 that month, if he had picked y'all up maybe and took y'all for a couple days, that would have helped her still. Like a mental break is needed.
I want to go after Gerard because I saw the hand up. Like I respectfully disagree.
And I want to say this. I want to ask this. Um, to that same token, should a mother's income be a factor in child support?
Yeah,
Oh, totally.
Yes, it is.
the
Absolutely. Yes.
primary parent. Yeah, and it is.
Yeah.
So,
Not saying too much business, Gerard, but I know somebody who's really close to me who had to give, when they separated, alimony to the hubby who was not going to be the primary parent, because they made more. And so they actually had to support the household in that secondary household for the children because they actually made more.
wow.
And didn't even have a child. Now that
Oh,
is silly.
That's silly.
And I
Mm. But actually, to say, again, I'm coming from it as a parent now, and I'm a very new parent, so I can say, like, I have not been through some of the super beautiful journey that some of y'all have been through, especially with
super
older
beautiful. Have you been listening to this live?
kids.
Going off this roller coaster.
But however, with that being said, I'm looking at it from the lens of now, because my father did not give the resources that was needed to my mother, and I saw the continued stress that she had to go through. It drove a further wedge between us.
yeah.
And he tried to be around all the time. And
Okay.
for me, in my brain, it was, but you're still not doing the thing that you need to do, that my mom should not have to cry over how the next sometimes meal is going to come, and cry over how we're going to pay the bills on things. And that is, to me, you have the responsibility. The presence is easy. As an extroverted introvert, I can show up and be as boisterous and as energetic as possible, but I still need my time. But what's difficult is, can I consistently do that if I don't have my time? And the resources is that time for me. And that's, I think there's a balance, and I think there's a way to do it. However, for me, if there is a split household, resources to at least, and that's if resources are needed. That's also another thing. So
Right.
I do want to say that, right? Like, that's
Right.
in some cases, resources are not needed. In my case, resources were absolutely needed, and it drove a wedge in the relationship.
And it was also not factored into child support or extracurricular activities. Like,
But listen, and I want to say, if a mother decide, even if we're in the same home, or we're not adversarial, if a mother decides I'm going to put the child in piano, and it's something that I'm deciding it is necessary for the piano, I don't know if extracurriculars, how can another person decide or determine, based upon their own desires for the child, that they're going to create another bill for you? Because there are a lot of kids who are not in piano who do just fine. I think to say that extracurriculars are automatically the responsibility of both parents, when you decided to put your child, for example, I have a person I know personally, and his wife believes that extracurriculars are the only way her kids are not going to be drug dealers and prostitutes. So they're in everything. They are separated, and he has no desire for them to be in a lot. But literally, I don't know about piano, but I want my child to be social habits.
I feel some type of way because I'm a pianist, and so that really got me.
But
It's just
the,
like
nowadays, nowadays extracurricular activities are necessary. Like actual sport things are necessary because kids don't get to play outside like they used to. Like, we get to run around. Back in the day, we could run around and not risk somebody trying to sell us in the
can
sex
they
trade.
go to the YMCA or the neighborhood rec center and do
Is
a
that
there's a
free?
cost.
Is
There's
that
a
free?
cost to go to the Y. There's a cost. And I feel like just based on
the Northwest
study,
Center on for Mercy Drive has a
the,
cost.
you
Yes, it does.
you have
Been
you
there
ha-
money. It does. Go ahead.
You have to have well-rounded children, man. And nowadays, you're not jumping in a sport at 13 and feeling like you're going to be an all-star. That's not happening. These children are starting younger and younger. And extracurricular, it doesn't always have to be sports. Like Tasia said, it could be a instrument. It could be the brain bowl. Your child could be in Kuhlman or something, and getting something extra. An idle mind is the devil's workplace. When you just have a child sitting around doing nothing, tweedly dilly dee, that child,
They gonna
they're
do what
not
they gonna
learning
do.
fundamental things that are needed. You have to, unfortunately, you have to have structure now if you want to be successful. I heard a guy say we're going back to hieroglyphics because of text language. So it's going to be hieroglyphics for this upcoming generation, and those that know how to read and write properly will rise to the top, and they will be the leaders. So when you have these children not doing it, not being productive, you're setting them up for failure, in my opinion. If they don't have a plan, you're not talking to them about finding. You're setting them up for failure. And unfortunately, when you have not unfortunately, but when you have children, your life is not your own anymore. You're responsible for making these people into productive citizens where they are contributing to society, not always drawing from society.
Can I say something to that too? And it's so interesting that Brandy, I love the like the question that continues to flash across our screens that says like, are the courts for the kids or against the father?
Oh,
There's a newly, she's not new, but there's a more recent elected uh judge, and she got appointed to, and by the way, she's one of the few black women judges in the court system right now in Orange, Osceola. So she's real deal. I can't say her name. I don't want her to get any flack for that. But
Texas
she, to me, and I know her personally, I say the courts are for the kids. And the reason I say that is because I literally hear her ask questions out loud that is like, what are best for the children? So one of the things, and it ties back to what you were saying, Ashley, is like right now you have to keep children so engaged because the attention span went from 21 seconds to now 3 to 7 seconds. And that is like yellow. Look over there, right? Like it's it's one of those things. But I saw I sat in the courtroom one time and I saw a recent case, and it wasn't about child support in the way of write this check. It was literally about child support on you are going to instead of writing $300 a week, you're going to pay for the karate lessons. And that blew my mind because I think that's great because it talks about what the child needs. However, it could also be detrimental because it takes away the decision making from where the primary thinks the resources need to go most. So it's the conundrum of, are you like, yes, you're trying to do this best for the kids, but sometimes when you're thinking about the kids so much, you forget about the person who has to keep the kids alive.
and also
And you get
have to
off.
consider if they stop doing karate, that money stops.
Right.
And then if you don't want to consider extracurricular activities, Jay, then you have to consider, what about tutoring?
Well, I didn't say that I'm extracurricular activities. That's not what I said.
And I
No,
think that they should be agreed upon to a certain extent. I think that the agreement, it should be agreed upon. For me, you can do all the activities you want as long as it's covered by the support.
Hello. Hello.
You can't play basketball if it's not covered.
Hello.
No,
RJ is the whisper this week.
Ooh, I don't know who that is, but
let me show you again.
Oh, hey. I just sent you some diapers. You okay?
We sent you some diapers.
We sure did.
I just want to say this. RJ is the whisperer.
You didn't even say nothing in the last 5 minutes. He's a mind reader at this point.
But I think there was a point though. I'm sorry.
No, that's in addition to, man. Because your support
No,
is
I
for
think there is a
food,
point
is
there.
for
There is a
no.
point there.
You
No, because if that's the
extracurricular is
case,
totally different, and we're gonna bust down on that thing
You've
50,
got my
50,
child in French cuisine courses
because that's what they want to do.
because
right?
my
I'm going
child
to be that
likes
parent.
French fries. And you mean to tell me
Okay,
No,
see, no,
No,
I'm
for
going to be,
you, for
and then
you on the time that you have your child likes French fries, but for the time that the I would say the parent that spends the most time with them, they probably like French cuisine
French
and
baguettes.
for
a croissant,
a croissant.
Uh,
And so,
a macaron.
but
Okay,
I do think there's a point there though. It's
no,
there's Ashley.
no,
I'm
Rod.
going to agree with Ash.
There's a smidgen, a skosh of a point there. Come on.
No, I
Universal
personally,
Bernadette.
because I don't know if y'all ever seen the TV show Child Genius.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the parent, because it talks about the parenting style of these children. Not only are they smart, but the parents are in tune with it, because there are a lot of people that are smart that aren't going anywhere, that are geniuses that aren't going anywhere. But these parents, one of the parents, she said, if my child says I'm into astronomy, she overloads that child with astronomy. Perfect. We're
Yes.
gonna go all the way for you. And I feel like it is the child. If my child says, Mom, I want to do soccer, let's go. As long as you give it your all, we're doing soccer. If
And
my
that,
child says, I want to be an artist, as long as you give it your all, and we're gonna complete the term, because you can't just jump in and out of sports now. But if
right.
it's a 6-month commitment, we're committed, and we're going to see, because that's how children figure out what it is that they really want. Where
but
are they really going to settle? But if
I
you're denying them those opportunities,
And telling them what
they're
they're going to do.
they're gonna be just trying to figure it out later in life.
I think that's relative to how you were raised because I was at your mom's house a couple weeks ago. And your mom was talking about something that Brandy wanted to do.
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics. And she said to me, she said, she said to me, Brandon, I promise you this is not a gotcha moment. She said to me, she said, when Brandy said she want to do gymnastics, she knew Brandy was really tall. And she said, but if that's what she wants to do, she said, I don't know if she's gonna be good at it, but we'll go that route.
She did.
You know,
She did.
so I think that
And I
sometimes
appreciate her for it, because I realized that gymnastics is not for me.
right, but
Right. Instead of having it in the back of her mind, I could have been a world gymnast. Now she could say, you know what, scratch that off the list. I couldn't have done that.
so if
Thank
the
you,
father is looking at Brandy at 7'2" and is saying that this is not gonna work, is the father wrong for saying, Mom, you want to support her in that? We know it's not gonna work. I'll let you have at it. Should the father take half of that expense?
Jay, let me help. 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 Let me be the whisperer here.
Come on.
Let me help. I think what is happening and what we're saying is let me help. I think what we're saying is to ensure that the resources are for necessity.
Right.
I believe that's what we're saying, and I agree. And that's what I was trying to say, Ashley. Where when RJ, Ron the creator, came up in here and said that comment, I do think there is a fine line though to ensure that resources for children, particularly when it's for child support, which is different than alimony, it goes into the resources that are necessities for children. So are we making sure there's a roof over someone's head, there are clothes on back, and there are food in their bellies, and I think that's where that's going.
And I'm going to say no to your question, not you, Jays.
Oh,
no, the father should not. Because okay, you may say that it's not going to work for a child, but how do you know? Because in all honesty, there was a gymnast that was she was like 5'8". She was super long. And she was in the Olympics. So I could have, it just wasn't for me. Nor was ballet, because when she tell you that story. So no,
And I
no,
think that
I
goes
think
back to being able to communicate with each other. I think when and this might help Jay out. I think a lot of times when the court system is involved, there becomes a bitterness between the two people. Whether there was one before, but once the court gets involved, there's a bitterness. And it's like, oh, I don't have to talk to you, and you got me on this, and you're doing, and it's like, well, you were going, if you say you're going to get the money anyway, what difference does it make? But I'm just saying, I feel like that's a conversation that those parents should have. Hey, we understand Brandy, most likely this isn't her sport, but we want to just try it out for 2 months, because my mom didn't have her in there for an extended period of time. She probably
2
just did the
weeks.
trial period, and paid a couple $100
Not
just so
even
that with Brandy
for 2
could check
weeks.
that off her list. So that's a conversation that they need to be able to have in a peaceful, calm way. And I feel like, yeah, I
And it was
I'm for
actually,
extracurricular, and I feel like it's this is happening over here
and to
What,
be fair, she did the same thing for me with ballet. I wanted to be a ballerina, was not for me.
for YouTube videos.
listen,
You know
RJ is
what? No, you
RJ's
know
on
what?
every dime you
That
spend on a dream. That's not. I mean, I agree with RJ. You take away from.
No, my daughter did that. Kelsey, she said, I want to do gymnastics. And I said, that's fine. I said, you could do gymnastics after I see you doing some cartwheels around here for 6 months. I told her that because gymnastics isn't a cheap sport, in my opinion. It's not inexpensive.
Laughing.
And I said, you know what, you need to do some things. And she YouTubed and she was learning. And to my child's credit, when she found her birthday, I said, we'll sign you up on your birthday, because it was 6 months away. She said, Mom, my birthday is tomorrow. I want to do gymnastics. I have forgot all about it. But I remember she is doing her little cartwheels. And
Going
when she, when
everywhere,
she
man.
went when she went to the gymnast, I signed her up to do the trial. They put her on the silver team. She had gotten so good on her own that she had learned all of these skills, and they moved her up from what kids that was in there for years. And so I agree. YouTube videos are a start, and I am an advocate for that. But I also will do the trial period with my child. They want to do
My baby's a
karate.
prodigy.
I don't agree with karate. I don't. Well, I don't agree with karate. I don't feel like karate is a good form of defense. You need to be in martial arts or Muay Thai, something like that.
MMA.
Yeah, Brazilian, jiu-jitsu.
Jitsu.
But they want to do it. I did put him in karate for 2 weeks, but then I'm like, this isn't working out for me, because it really was about me at that point. And I put him in jiu-jitsu.
Can I ask a question? On the weekend,
So don't try them children. Just
on
saying.
on the weekend, I get my children and I take to Top Golf to learn golf, just because it's something fun to do and I want them to be great golfers. Once I get my receipt on the weekend, do I send you a picture of it and tell you to cash at me half of the lessons?
If that's what you want to do, go for it. If it'd be just like when she asked you for the $30. She ain't got to. But if she do, congratulations. And I don't know why you take them to Top Golf anyway. You can go buy a bunch of golf balls and a club and go to empty field and hit a ball around. That's free.
No,
And
no.
you didn't hear what, I don't even think you heard what you said. You had them on your weekend, and you decided to go Top Golf with them. No, don't send me a bill, because you golfing with them kids, and that's your outing.
Is
That's
that
your
pay?
outing.
And they said that at the
I
same
wish
time.
I wish the sucker would.
They
You
said that
ain't
at the
getting a dime from
same time.
me.
I just think I think that if there's no limit to what a mother can find for
Your
a child,
time, your dime. Sorry, Tasia put that.
I'll pop it up again just in case you missed it. Because
I,
she and Ashley said it at the same time,
I think that
just in different ways.
I think fathers get a short end of the stick, and I think it is punishment to them.
You know why? That's because they're trying to grab it with two fingers instead of a whole hand.
No, I think, excuse me, I think it's also because of, we talk about systems a lot, right? And we talk about how things perpetuate a system. And there are fathers, and this actually goes, this is, I don't know if you do this on purpose, Brandy, but if you do, it's absolutely brilliant. It ties into what was kind of the conversation that was happening last week.
Of course, I do that on purpose.
Oh, stop. So, but it kind of ties into the conversation that was happening last week on, you know, relationships and how things are happening, and then systems, and it becomes a systemic thing, like, and just kind of builds on one another. And I think over the long haul, fathers nowadays are not necessarily, and I'm speaking from a point of observation, not a point of knowing or living it. But fathers nowadays do want to be a part of their children's lives. They really want to be in like a really, if there's, and I'm talking about those who are split from the household, right? And they really want to be a part of that story and that journey. However, there is a system that has been created that makes it seem otherwise. And so when we talk about systems, the system needs to shift a little bit to support those fathers that really want to be in those spaces. I did see, and in the same courtroom that I spoke about earlier, I did see a father that on paper and even through testimony of the mom is there 80% of the time, which makes that person the primary father. But because the mom was the mom, that person got the primary custody, got all the, and he was fighting to get the custody of the kids. And he's like, I do make the most bread. I take them to school. I do all these things. And so I do think there's a systemic thing that's happening, and I don't know what that is.
Okay, we'll have three things now. The first one is approximately 40% of single fathers are awarded child support, to 53% of women that are awarded custodial child support. The second thing is systematically, there are things set up that prevents a father from being in the household, such as food stamps. You can't have 4C, WIC, those situations. You can't have a man in the household, which because women need, you can't have a man in the house. And the third thing was, I forgot it, but it'll come back to me. So Jay, you were going to say something?
I didn't know that about 4C. That's interesting.
I was gonna say earlier when you all said that a father, something you all said about about a father or a mother can be taken to jail with just calling and reporting, that a mother has to enforce child support. I was gonna say that earlier. That's not true if she's on child support and she's getting those services, because if she's getting food stamps, WIC, 4C of those services, the mother doesn't even come after you for child support. It's an attorney for the Department of Revenue in the state of Florida. The mother could be sitting at home, not knowing that they're suspending your license, not knowing that they're putting a warrant out for your arrest, but because she gets those services, the Department of Revenue is coming behind you because they've paid her for those services. So it is systematically. I know this from example. I have receipts where I pay more than child support.
We know.
Literally, I have situations where I have to call the mother of my children and say, hey, they suspended my license. Did you do the little yearly form and say, hey, he's giving me this off of paper? Oh, I forgot to do it. So
that's why you pay it through the courts. Stop paying it without going through the courts.
Okay. Are y'all
go ahead? Right. We listening. We just solving the problem for you.
Right. So paying it through with paying it through the courts sounds like the correct answer, but this is the problem with that. If I decide to gift, because that's what they call it, more than the child support amount, and I pay it through the court. She calls me. She says she needs $100 because tomorrow she's taking to Volcano Bay, and I want to do that. If you pay it through the system, I go on child support. She's not going to get it today. I think that there are instances where income comes up. So do I say, well, I'm going to pay it through the court and this, that, and the other, because I'm giving it to you today because you need it today. But then next week, I'm not going to give it to you because you don't need it next week. And so, I mean, I don't want to get in that person, but I'm saying it's not as easy as folks make it seem.
No,
Second,
what you're
say this.
saying though, I want to address what you're saying before you go to the second thing.
Uh-huh.
What you're saying is you're paying child support, and then she asks you for money for Volcano Bay. That's not child support. She asks you money for Volcano Bay. So no, you don't pay that through the child support. But all of your child support payments should be paid through child
That's not
support.
what I'm saying. Is even if she's deciding, okay, don't give me child support next week, I need it today to go to Volcano Bay. Same amount is going out every month. If she's the same amount is going, you're shaking your head. But to me, if in her mind she knows, okay, I'm not giving you anything next week because I've done it this week, and that's a wash for her. We and her should be able to make that agreement
You
without
got
the system getting involved in saying,
I
"Oh
agree.
no,
you
I
got one
agree.
time
No,
to
I agree.
suspend
I
my
think what he's
license
saying
for
though.
child support. You
No,
have
but I
one
think
time to do it.
no.
And once
That's
you
real.
suspended my
No.
license, I don't care if I gave you $300 in your hand.
That's
You
real.
got one time to suspend my license. Because if you want to go to Volcano Bay, the answer is no. I'm paying
No,
through
when
the
my
system.
children are
I am
that's
crying on
paying
not
the
through the
phone."
system.
true.
I
That's
am
not
No,
paying
a
through the
system.
system.
I
You are not
agree.
locking
I
me up.
agree.
No,
You are
I
not
don't
taking
agree.
my license. You are not making, and then because this is the reality. When they take your license, then you got to pay extra to get it back. You still got to pay the child support. You still got to do all those things. You're not going to Volcano Bay. That's the answer to that,
I
because
don't agree.
I'm
I
not doing
don't
that.
agree with that.
And
I'm not doing it.
and
I
I'm
think
gonna
what
say
happens is a
that
narrative is created that on the other side, and I'm a living witness of this, that and but also I just said terrible things about my father that they're absolutely true. I think I'm a living witness of, as someone who is as passionate about his kids as Jay, right? It's, you don't want your children to miss out on that opportunity.
Come on,
And that, let's talk about it though. People teach you how to treat them. And because of that, if I decide not to give that $100, here's a couple things that are going to happen. Mom, perhaps, will be creating this narrative of how terrible of a parent I am, and we can't go to Volcano Bay today
because of your daddy.
I
oh,
got
we
it.
can. You're just gonna go with me.
How also the other thing that happens is, why can't I give you the money up front? Why can't we have this trusting, wonderful, beautiful relationship, Ash, that you talked about before this? And that why can't we have this? And why do I have to have a record of it? Why can't we just have that type of relationship? So it is a system. It is a perpetual thing that happens of mistrust. And like, Jay, I'm with you on that. That like I wish there were a system where if you wanted to go Volcano Bay, it proves that I put $100 in automatically and goes right to you. So something needs to be better in that.
And I want
There
to
should be.
There should be. And I'm agreeing with Ash. You only got one time to get my license suspended. One time, because that means you're dishonest. You should have told the courts, he gave me the $100. He's good. He paid the child support. We made an agreement, this, that, and the third. Second thing is, you should get that junk in writing. Like, why are you letting somebody verbally isn't working for you? Get that junk in writing.
Even if it is in writing, that does not matter. Even if there's text records saying that I gave you, because I know somebody like that. They showing the police, look, I gave this to her. They don't give a flying flip. What was text is what is in the system.
Correct.
And I feel like with Jay's scenario, he said that the mother of his child did not report it, and he faced the consequences. You have one time not to report for me. One time. I understand. I agree. It should be. No, it should be. Yo, let's talk. Yeah, I can get this to you outside, and we got a good relationship. It should be that. I am an advocate for having healthy parenting relationships. I believe in that. But when it comes to now, I have to pay court costs. I have to pay this, and I have to go do this, and I can't drive, and I'm getting arrested about me giving you $100 to go to Volcano Bay. You're not going. Them kids will be all right.
Or you're gonna have to plan. Or you're gonna have to plan
You
for the
better get
future. You just
sprinklers.
stop all the last minute planning. You got to plan for the future, mama. I'm
It's
gonna put that
different,
money in the
y'all.
account. We
What
doing
what
it
does
too.
that say? If she
You know, you're
forgets
trying
to
to keep the
say
peace
that
with
you
mother. If she
paid
forgets
them.
that she say you paid him your license, gets spirit, then I would take it as them not valuing me.
That
There you go.
The
exactly.
mother not valuing.
Right. I want to say,
Yes,
You can
I
Not
do
want
the
to
it,
say this
sister.
too. I want to say this.
I agree with Ron.
mother.
I want to say this too. I know what it's like to have conversations with a child's mother on a Monday and a Tuesday about what the child needs, and show up to the child support office on Wednesday or a court hearing. And when you walk in there, even though you two have not decided we're not going to speak to her, that we're going to be cold, when the lawyers show up and you're in there, it's like you don't even know them. The system makes it a daunting task to
Right.
co-parent.
I said that.
And unfortunately, I've had same conversations after we left the system building or the institution that day. And it's like, man, why you was in there acting like that with them people? The system, I'm not gonna go as deep into saying it's Jim Crow and Willie Lynch, but the system is created for me to be the bad guy. And I don't want my children, no disrespect, to talk about me the way Chev talks about his dad. So I try to do those things on the spot, because what they will remember, like Brandy said, they'll remember mama say, well, I told y'all to call your dad and he didn't want to give y'all no money to go to Volcano Bay.
It,
And that sticks.
and if she's
I
the
don't,
if that's the type of woman that you've had a child with, believe me, she also saying your daddy in jail. Your daddy got arrested. Your daddy ain't nothing. Your daddy this. She also saying that, and you got arrested trying to help her, trying to get them kids to Volcano Bay. I feel like you're not going to. And my thing is, my grandma told me, my grandma Ann, she said that
Mm.
let them children grow up. She
Huh.
said you don't have to talk bad about their dad. Let them children grow
Yeah.
up. They'll see it for themselves. Yes, you didn't go to Volcano Bay, but sure is tomorrow is coming. One day you'll realize that that I did pay. I did do my part. You might have to be in the moment, but I'm not. I can't stress that enough. You're not suspending my license twice.
And
Actually,
You're not gonna
legit.
have me doing
And
it. I don't.
and
I don't care. When them kids with me on the weekend, we're gonna go to Volcano
she
Bay.
got her
How
preacher
about that?
voice on.
I'm
right.
gonna
And
take her to
even with an
Volcano.
embittered woman, and even with an embittered
I'm
woman,
about to go.
she's
I'm about
not
to get
saying,
scripture.
she's not at Volcano Bay talking about some, your daddy got us here, guys. Your daddy got us here. She's
Yeah.
not saying that.
Yeah.
What she gonna say is, your daddy didn't give us money to eat, but I'm gonna take care of it. Your daddy
Now,
didn't give us this. Especially if for an embittered woman, I'm saying for the woman that he's talking about, she's not gonna say anything positive. She clearly wants it to be negative.
fair.
And she
I
not
will say.
saying
I will
she
say
gonna say,
to
"Oh, y'all had fun when I took y'all to Volcano Bay." That's what she gonna say.
Ron,
Even if she
Ron
don't
the
say nothing
creator.
negative.
hello,
Ron the
hello,
creator. First of
hello.
all, I said the thing about the system. I think I need you to keep up. And then
Hop on,
the other
click the link, talk to him to his
and the
face.
other thing,
RJ can't get
Ash,
on the link.
I'm kind of being a little
RJ is
hypocrite here.
breastfeeding 7 kids right now.
He about 20 kids. So it
I'm
is
gonna
he has
I'm
a
gonna
free
leave
pass,
the creator
about 20
alone.
kids, a whole free pass. But I said the same thing about the system. Also, Ash, I do actually agree with you. The one thing to my mother's credit is that she never said a foul word about my father. Not one. And in fact, she was the person who told me, still to this day, she checks on, oh, you call your dad, you're talking to him, like, and so I it's kind of like a foot in my mouth in a moment, when it comes to like me, like when I said something earlier around the mothers tend to say things negatively. However, I am sitting in data, and when we're talking about data, and my data is all thug data, and with that thug data, I do know that oftentimes, and it's just human nature, folks just speak poorly of others if they don't get what they want.
Right.
And so I sit with Jay, and I sit like with all of that and saying, and if you feel like you're not, and there was no disrespect taken, Jay, like I didn't speak badly about my father. I spoke truth, and I don't feel like that's bad.
Right.
I spoke what was actually in existence. However, if I continue to speak truth, there might be this guilt, and there might be this thing that you feel like you need to overcompensate for. And I think that's what Brandy and Ashley's point are to. you don't need to overcompensate. If you're doing what the court system's saying that you need to do, which I think is an extreme amount. The math sometimes doesn't math with the court, but yet it's still an extreme amount. Then you don't need to give the extra. So maybe there's a guilt that we need to sit
And I
with.
And
And,
even
and I
with
think it's a form of bullying to say to I'm gonna treat you bad. I'm gonna tell these children bad things about you. That's a form of bullying
But I
and
can't be
manipulate.
responsible for
Hold
that
on,
though.
bullying and manipulation
Mhm.
on that parent's part. And I think that that also speaks to the society, how we don't want to be perceived a certain way. If I know that what I'm doing is right, then I cannot control what you say about it, how you feel about it, or whatever the case may be. I guarantee these children are not dying because they did not go to Volcano Bay.
and they're not going
But
to.
but what will happen is they will suffer if mom doesn't have a license or she's in jail. I can't do anything for you. If you had, like I said, and I will say this over and over, you have one time to lock to suspend my license. I'm paying through the system, and maybe I'll even pay early so you can have a little extra, a
Mhm.
little bit sitting in the reserve. But everything is coming through the system. Don't call me and ask me for $30.
And then what does that do to then the notion of having a healthy relationship with the person you're co-parenting? Well, not necessarily co-parenting, because is it really co-parenting? Who is your co-parent and you're the main parent? Like, what does that do to the relationship with that?
Parenting.
Sets boundaries. It sets boundaries.
Okay, that was a
It is
really quick answer. And first of all, what I don't need is that tone that you're taking with me. Very
right,
quickly.
because this has really
Boundaries.
fired me up.
It's not me.
This has really
I'm not
fired me up.
him. I'm not.
Yeah. It
Oh Lord,
sets
have mercy, Gray.
boundaries and it tells you that I'm not like, if the thing was is you needed money for Volcano Bay outside of child support, then that's different. Okay, I'll give you $50. But if it's in place of and we have an agreement that I'm giving you
Sure,
this
Right.
to
sure,
wash child support, then that's totally different.
sure.
Then you need to take that time, just as quick as it took me to cash app it to you, to input that into the system.
I agree. I
So
love
that
y'all.
that's that's my thing.
I have to go to a law briefing, but I absolutely love y'all. Thanks for it's
Law
great to hop
briefing.
into this.
What kind of
Yeah.
party you at? Thanks for joining. And I wanted to say that Black men are the most active in their parents' life. Are the most active of men in their children's lives. They spend the most time with their kids. So Black men, y'all get a bad rap, but the fact of the matter is, y'all the ones that are active in your child's life. Your presence is there.
And do and
Resources,
and are.
And will be.
boom, bam, pow. Um. So, oh, that's what I was looking at. I agree. You have boundaries, like you said. I'm agreeing with you. Now, do I have my issue about child support? I do have issue with child support. I do.
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
it definitely needs to be completely focused on the child. If you
Yeah.
can't afford to get a liposuction, how you getting your liposuction? You getting 30,000? How you getting liposuction? But like you said, you only got one time to try it, one time. There's an old saying that
Yeah.
goes, "Fool me once, uh,
Don't even do it.
shame on you. Fool me can't get food again." Like, come on. Taxes? What do you mean taxes? Did I miss something? Who gets the tax money? I don't know.
No, yeah, because that is another thing. You the custodial parent, the non-custodial always want to be able to file the child on their taxes. But let me
Oh,
file, let me do, yeah, and I'm all for it, whatever. Let's bust down on it. But because I believe it should be 50-50. If everybody doing their part, then okay, I'm fine with it.
I think it's 50-50 if we're paying 50-50. If not, if you're paying child support, and again, it doesn't include extracurricular activities, it doesn't include tutoring, it doesn't include this extra stuff, then that money, the tax money that I'm getting for them, is going toward that. Since you don't feel like you need to pay for extracurricular activities, cool. We'll let the government pay for it, or me pay for it technically, because I'm getting my money back
Right,
for them because I'm spending money on them.
right.
Then no, no. And I used to be a very strong advocate about men not the court system being fair to men, but I think it's just not really fair all around, because apparently a lot of women are paying child support, as are men. And like we said before, 50-50. Let's just delete child support. Let's just get rid of it and do 50-50 with the 50-50 split and call it a day. Oh, real quick before, because I want to get off in 9 minutes, but real quick, have you heard about the guy that has the 7 kids? He's from 7 different baby mamas. He told all of them that he don't want no kids. So if you get pregnant, I ain't gonna have nothing to do with them kids. And they still did the nasty with them. What are your thoughts on that? Like, should he pay child support? Because he told them they let him raw dog. They got pregnant.
I
And
feel like and this might be another topic, but I feel like if the woman has the option to get an abortion, she has an option to keep the child or get an abortion. I feel like the father should have an option to abort as well. I don't want to be a part of it, or I do want to be a part of it. So or not it, but the child. Um,
right, but he
but
also had the option to wear a condom.
right, I agree with that. I mean, I feel like I don't know if he should be obligated. I mean, the child is here, but I don't if he was very clear that this is not what I want, I don't know.
Well, in all fairness, since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, you really can't do abortions. It's up in the air, so that may not always be a trick that you can treat. So yeah, thank you for joining me. I won't hold you any longer. I appreciate all of you. Oh, now he's going to come back in. I appreciate all of you. Did you have anything you wanted to wrap up with? We'll start with Ash, ladies first. Mothers first.
No, I don't have anything. I think it was a good topic. I am for child support. I am for it being based on your income of both parents. I feel that the child should live at the level of the parents. And but I want to stress that good co-parenting relationships are important, and doing things outside of monetary requirements is important too. I think that both parents should be showing up to practices, to games, just being invested in these children's lives. Come to a doctor's visit. I think that's more important for the child.
And I agree. I will say that my parents, our parents, were very good, great co-parenting. Like a lot of my friends were like, "Your parents aren't married." I'm like, "No, they know how to get along and deal with children." My dad did not. I don't think my dad came to any of my doctor's visits. However,
He did.
he made up for. He took us. He gave my mom time for herself, even if she didn't ask. I don't think my mom ever asked for him to come get us. He was just came. So I agree with that. Um, Disappearing Act.
I am for supporting children. I am against the institution that we know as child support. I believe that a father should want to support his children in a way that's healthy and a way that's abundant according to his ability. But I think the institution and the system and what child support and mainly the courts have done through child support has been a disadvantage to fathers. And I think it has been um, a, a, a a detriment to the black family, especially. So I am for supporting your children, but I am against child support. I just want to say that for the record.
And I will agree. And what Chef said, in that you should you should be giving, or maybe Ash said it, you should be giving to what you want. You should want better for your children. So you should be
Right.
giving
Chef said
more so that they can succeed past what you had. Like the bare minimum isn't going to cut it. So, and I think, like I said before, that they should be 50-50. It should be 50-50 because everybody needs a break. The children need to spend quality time with dad and mom and call it a day.
and I want to say I agree with Jay that it shouldn't be a mandate through the court to do the child support. I wish that parents could be on the same page and say, you know what, we're going to do this way, and just let it be that. That's a utopia that we're not in, unfortunately. So and the system has made it where, I hear women, they'll get pregnant. They the first thought is, I'm gonna put him on child support.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, ugh, why is that your first thought?
Right.
But that's so ingrained in the, I'll have to say American system, because I don't know any other. That's just a part of, we're not married. I'm putting him on child support. It should
Or
be
if
a
they get upset, or if they get upset with the father, be
I,
like,
right.
I'm gonna put him on child support, and he ain't gonna see these kids.
Right.
Let me say that differently. I'm gonna put him on child support, and he won't be seeing these children, because I said it like it's only black women, and it's not.
Right.
So let's be clear
And
on
I
that.
think that should be just as heavily. And I have to jump off too, but I think that should just be just as heavily regulated as him not paying. Does he see those children? The
Right.
system should be checking in on that as well. Do they get their fair amount of time? Because I know a lot of guys who want to be active, but because she in her feelings, or because he didn't send extra money to get her nails done,
Or to go to
or because
Volcano Bay.
he's not sleeping with her, because it is a lot of emotion on the woman's part, why they're doing what they're doing.
Mhm.
So it's like, well, you went and got you a girlfriend,
All right.
and I wasn't ready for that. So now I'm going to play the you're not seeing the children card, or oh, you getting married, or oh, you bought a new car, whatever. Anything could trigger her, and I feel like that should be regulated.
And I,
I'm sorry, the man should have an option to report her on those things,
And he needs to.
and it be enforced.
If
right.
more men stepped up and reported women that do that, the system would change, but men just don't do it.
And I think that's true. I know a woman recently. Her child's father got married, and the new wife is pregnant. She's getting child support.
Mm.
She said, "Oh, time for me to go back to child support and ask for more."
Modifications.
And literally, it wasn't because her child needed more, or she had more to do with the child, or she wanted to invest in the child more. But literally, she said, if he's getting married and he can take on more children, he can give me more money too. And I just
But
don't.
yeah, that's dumb. Well, I mean, it's just dumb. But also, I think also when she does a modification, if they're married, both are not both incomes considered. It's
Mm-mm.
not okay. Good, good, good. Okay. Whew, that was nerve wracking. Well,
No, both
Ash,
incomes aren't considered. Yeah, just
some of
like
it's a married
when my
couple.
boyfriend move in with me, his income won't be considered. Hello.
But if you're married, there is a. I think if you have a child while you're married, like you have a child on your wife while you're married, I think they will use the household income between the two of you, you and your. I'm not sure about
Oh,
that.
that would suck. So if he cheated on his wife, her income has to pay for the kid bus. Ugh.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have.
I hope not, but I hope not. But you have to go, and I want to go to sleep. So, did you want to say you can go? I won't hold you. Did you
All
want
right, see y'all later.
anything to say, Jay?
No, I'm
Because
good.
you dropped out on me. I was like, oh, is he mad
Oh,
at me?
oh,
I didn't really care, but I was like, oh, is
my
he
phone
mad?
died. No, my phone died. But no, it was a great conversation. I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks, and I'm out.
Cool, 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 cool.
Okay,
Thank you. Take care.
no problem. Take care.
I am going to request that Tasia, Ron, y'all need to join in on the conversation. Let's have some face-to-face conversation. Thank you, Chev, Jay, Ash, and myself for joining the live today. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. right here. Right here. Right here. Oh, here will be throughout the week. So if you follow me at Brandy L Grant, Brandy with a Y, L Grant on TikTok, yeah. I can be a little more extra on TikTok because Facebook have limitations. I ain't gonna use profanity now. My mama might be watching, but we'll be having fun. So thank you for joining us. See you next week. And so that we can do better with our shows, please definitely donate to Question Time. Thank you, and ta-ta, toodaloo for now.